much, ARCAOS and Dr. Chitra and the team. So, phakic IOL should be reserved only for extreme refractive errors. I think the other one thing, I mean, the opposite of this has been told by my opponent. I think to speak, I mean, opposite to this particular topic of mine, it requires a great deal of brave heart and good measure of clinical ineptitude. I mean, let me probably introduce Dr. Geetansha for you. Uh, Dr. Geetansha, no, young people are basically very impulsive, like Dr. Geetansha, a lot of cortisol and a lot of adrenaline, because they're very impressionable. They believe the company narratives very easily, and they are vulnerable to market pressures. And whatever the people say, they are not very resilient. They quickly change, and also they lack the wisdom teeth. So corneal procedures for low to moderate myopia, refractive errors, and phakic IOLs for high myopia, this has been a common understanding and a common sense. Okay, I think what is the beast, the beauty and the beast? The beauty here is the LASIK and the smell, which we have been doing for a long time. And the beast is the phakic IOL, which, has its own share of problems. See, the LASIK and smile has been the best thing that has happened in this century. The newer technology that have come in and the new very skillful surgeons bringing a lot of innovative techniques, okay, we have the better understanding of corneal biomechanics, and the pathophysiology of ectasia has been very well understood, and it has been time tested, and it's also economical because ICLs are very costly for the patient, especially the toric people coming the phakic IOLs much easier with trans-PRK and surface ablations. So this is a very important question that I want to answer. Why anybody wants to perform a phakic IOL for low to moderate myopia? Now, when Dr. Chitra asked me to take up this topic, I said, Dr. Chitra, there is no debate here. My opponent will be in great trouble. That person will be defenseless. Please do not give this. So this will be very difficult for my opponent. But she said that is exactly the point, because I'm giving to Dr. Geetansha, who is my daughter-in-law. Okay, so the borderline corneal thickness, she said for borderline corneal thickness, probably there is a case for ICL. But we know that with the present day techniques, the kind of new innovation that have happened in the corneal refractive surgery, we are able to take care of this. She said dysphotopsia. I think if you have a hole right in the center, you may create, solve many problems, but that itself can cause dysphotopsia. Reduced contrast, and they say there's a lot of aberration that are induced. Okay, the fear of ectasia, the problems with IOL power calculation. See, you have cataracts with ICLs and phakic IOLs. So there the problem of IOL power estimation comes. For refractive surgery, if you are doing to low to moderate myopia, you don't have to worry about cataract and even the IOL power calculation. So let me tell you, this phakic IOL is a demon if untamed. There's an intraocular procedure. In an young patient, you are trying to put something into the eye. There's a possibility of endophthalmitis. Inflammation, you are trying to put a foreign body between a clear, well-functioning crystalline lens and an iris, which is extremely sensitive. So you're going to create a low-grade inflammation in that patient forever. And I'm a glaucoma surgeon myself. I've seen so many problems where the angle has been compromised by a wrong sizing and intractable glaucomas leading to removal of ICLs. But obviously, cataract formation tops the list because over a period of time, the vaulting changes and invariably it leads to lens touch and cataract formation. There are a lot of unresolved problems. Sizing has always been an issue. Whatever is the technique, whatever is the place, everybody has a problem with white to white, sulcus to sulcus. It can never be, it has not been resolved so far. And also we know that there's a gradual reduction in the vault, almost every 15 microns per year at least. Finally ends up with reducing the wall to almost dangerous. Toric phakic IOLs rotate post-operatively. It's not like a capsule sticking to a toric IOL, but the toric phakic IOLs do rotate post-operatively. So there are three, whatever villains you have, you want Mogambo, you want Joker, you want, whoever, cataract formation, endothelial cell loss. In a young patient, you are putting it in foreign body there, and there is 0.6% is a gradual loss every year, but we have something up to 7% endothelial cell loss per year. It can be really scary. And once you do an intraocular procedure, you're going to change the vitreous dynamics. There's an increased risk of OD in these patients. See, low to moderate myopia, don't worry, Geetansha. We have femtolasic where we can do thin flaps. We have Smile Extra. And residual stromal thickness, it need not be a bugbear. We have a lot of, we do understand ectasia is caused by so many other factors. It is still a treatable cause. So please save our patients from a myopic, the wrong slant, the wrong photograph. This is the photograph from myopic surgeons. No, we do have to have. See, very literature savvy. She pulled out so many literature telling extolling the virtues of ICL or in low to moderate myopias, but eminence-based medicine says that whatever has been time-tested, well-proved, that we need to. So we need to exercise caution in our judgment. We have to stay extraocular. We know cornea well by now, so let us do a corneal procedure. Let us not create a traffic jam within the anterior segment leading to glaucoma and inflammation and unwarranted posterior segment problems. And let us perform an advanced corneal laser procedure, which are available so that we can have a well-established and very rewarding results. And very importantly, let the good sense prevail. So this is something I would like to say. Let us not create new problems just because that we know. ICL for extreme myopia, I do agree. But for low to moderate myopias, we have well-established procedure of laser vision correction. Let us stick to the rule book and let us have happy patients. Thank you very much.
Good, Dr. Krishna Prasad. Gitansha, you have a minute to rebut. Don't spare him.
So thank you, sir. I just retort to your points one by one. The first thing you said was that the procedure is not as economical, but like I've already pointed out, that the Indian varieties cost the same as the procedures such as femto LASIK and SMILE. Again, you said that there is an increase in the, now we know much more about the corneal biomechanics, because of which we can carry on laser vision correction safely. But we also know that patients who have early FFKC or any form of ectasia cannot undergo these procedures, and we have to resort to phakic IOLs. Again, yes, being an intraocular procedure, there might be a slight risk of inflammation, but like I've already shown, collagen is exceedingly inert and the risk of inflammation is negligible. Yes, there could be a risk of infection, but even LASIK comes with its own set of unique complications. Sizing and rotation is not an issue as long as proper preoperative measurements are taken. You also pointed out that there is an increased risk of retinal detachment, but that is more in patients in which PVD has not used or they have a high myopia. But in cases of low myopia, the risk of retinal detachment is exceedingly low. And I just like to end by saying, as regards wisdom teeth, I have all 4 of them.
Okay. Quickly, I'll probably say you are very literature savvy. I do appreciate that, Gitansha. Very well done. So ICL is really good. I do understand that. You have all the literatures to say that ICL is extremely good. But why do it in low to moderate myopia? When we have very good results with our SMILEs, our PRKs, patients are very happy, we're staying extraocular. Why go inside the eye and create a new problem for an young patient? Cornea is a much more well-known territory, and basically a myope, even a low or moderate myope, when you go inside, you're going to change the dynamics to an extent. So we have seen patients with ICLs coming with great problems. So let us not create a new problem in a patient, especially low to moderate, which can be very well corrected by so-called the present-day laser vision corrections on the cornea. That is exactly my point. Thank you very much.